Oh. Hey, what's up? It's another episode of the Dirty South podcast. We've been definitely out for a couple of weeks. We were going to do this a few weeks back, but all three of us got tied up in different directions, and here we are. So, welcome to the Dirty South podcast. We've been
It's good
teasing
to
the
see you guys
preseason.
again.
Yeah, it's great to see you. We've
Brant,
been,
bring the energy, man. You look
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
happy there.
We've been teasing.
Listen,
We've been,
this is a tough one for me. I'm just
yeah.
dreading my emails.
We've been teasing we've been teasing Brant Parsons preseason top five uh for teams in our state for each A. Today we're gonna do girls and 1A.
Yep.
So we're finally there and we're gonna do it. And he did, for anybody out there that is listening, he did release updated individual rankings yesterday, I believe.
Every Tuesday.
So
So
Every
so
single Tuesday.
here's where we're at. So how you
so
guys
so
doing?
let's start with Brant. I mean, you're kind of pulling this together, man. It's August. Like, why? What are we doing? Like, delving into a top five in August?
Because we didn't get it done in July. I mean, because you went on a trip. You had to spend time with your lovely wife and see the world. No, I mean, we're all thinking about it, right? I mean, we're
We
looking ahead to
are.
the season.
Yeah.
I've been working on my preview now, like around the clock for at least 2 months. And in my head, I was like trying to figure out who the top teams were. And these aren't official top five. It's not like my official rankings or whatever you want to call it. Like this is my view as it is right now. Actually, this is my view as it is the end of July. Or maybe first week of August, I think, is when I finalize it. And there are some changes have come in. I've not changed the top five because I think they kind of fit. But I mean, I told you guys 38 coaches have already sent me preseason information, which includes kids not wrestling, new kids coming in, uh, new weights, different weights, changes in rankings because of that. I mean, the rankings this week are completely changed in a lot of places, just moving guys around and girls around from new weights. But this is a snapshot in history of that day in August when I sat down and I just wanted to pick the top five. I'd usually have IBT team rankings and dual team rankings, kind of a combination, which we'll discuss today. I think I had the luxury of making the top five list, knowing we could talk about it. So I didn't have to, so I'd have a chance to kind of discuss why it is that way. But it's looking at each team, information that I had at that moment, rankings that I had at that moment, and kind of figure out who the top five teams are. They may not be the top five teams when my official team rankings come out, with my season preview in November. But it's never too early to get excited. And judging by 38 coaches sending me forms and the amount of emails and texts I get daily and from different people wanting to talk wrestling, and uh, people are ready for it. They're hungry for it. Everybody's back in school, and
And they're ready. Yeah.
they're
And
ready. And
preseason, they're doing their conditioning and
they're
everything else.
having
Yeah.
they're having their meetings to try to get more people in, and they're meeting on campus. And yeah, it's time to start thinking about it. So that's where it came from, and that's the calculative measure behind it, so people kind of know why this is the top five and what went into that.
Yeah, I've been excited. I don't normally starting this Dirty South podcast with you guys. I've really been able to kind of learn more about breaking things down that you guys
Well, you did
showed me.
start really low. So, I mean, we didn't really have to pull you
Yeah,
up much.
yeah. I did. I had a low bar there, right? Um, so yeah, I agree with you
That
there.
was too easy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes. So real quick before we get into this, this weekend is the National Wrestling Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So
Hmm.
before we get into this, congratulations to everybody going in. We have the honorees for lifetime service of wrestling is Terry Brockman, Frank Feuder, Brian Jones, Michael Medry, John Voigt, I think I said that right, Jeremy Walton. We have the Medal of Courage going to Chris Hickson, which if anybody doesn't know who Chris Hickson is, he lost his life at MSD down there during that whole thing. So his son, I believe, will be there. And then the Florida chapter John Vaughn Award is going to Ricky Marcus with the Florida Wrestling Room. So congratulations to all of the honorees this weekend. Good for you. And I look forward to seeing everybody there. But
Well, hang
That
on,
being,
just real quick, just to piggyback on that, I want to give a shout out because I'll tell you what, I think it's great that officials get recognized. Jeremy Walton is a great official and does a great job of handling things and everything else. And officials get a lot of grief along the way, and I just think it's absolutely fantastic that all of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame chapters across the United States really put the officials at the top of the list and like in recognizing them and for their service and everything else. So, all
yeah,
right, sorry, Dan.
let's go on. Yep, just wanted to get that out there. So congratulations to everybody this year who is a part of that and getting those awards. But yeah, so today we're going to start with girls, right? Is that what we're going to
Yes.
start with?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
just before we start in girls, this is season 5, off the top of my head of girls being sanctioned, and we've had 4 different state champions. And
So,
that's season
Brant,
5.
the thing we want to know is, will there be a
Who's
different number
next?
one?
Yes.
Who's
Well, that's
next?
what we'll find out. But
Who's next?
we've had 4 different state champions. We've had Orlando Freedom, we've had Matanzas, we've had Hernando, and we've had Flagler Palm Coast. And I have a different number one. Right.
So,
When we get to it.
yeah. So, actually, I wanted to ask the question of, um, last year, like because I deal with Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, and much of the Southeast. Florida is the wild, wild west. I mean, like people just, I mean, they're moving in the middle of the year, they're doing all sorts of things and everything else. So last year doesn't necessarily predict this year.
Correct.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I think the thing with last year is, and it's the first time it really stood out to me, and it might be because it was the 4th year, and the sport has been growing, just a tremendous senior exodus of talent of state players. There's probably the most accomplished senior class that has graduated since the girls wrestling has been sanctioned, and that are with some unproven wrestlers or even holes in the lineup because they lost so much to graduation.
Thank you. That's Brant Vader.
I is my computer messing up? Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen.
you went digital there for a second. Sound a little AI.
But we got the message.
I'm
Though. The
trying to think
point
if I
came
turn you
across.
guys off, if that will help. But my computer is struggling.
The
It is
point
getting
came
repaired on
across.
Saturday. Yeah.
So so we're going to get into the girls. Do you want to get into kind of the method of the madness first, or do we just want to get in there and start seeing who the top 5 are?
Well, I'm just hoping that because you guys are freezing on me, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to keep seeing me. I'm trying to turn you guys off. I don't want to look at your faces.
You know what? I get that. You should turn us off.
Let's start. We'll just do the top 5, and then we can talk about who's not coming in. The thing that stuck out to me, there's really only 2 full teams that when I look at right now, at least on the information I have, I know there'll be some other teams that are full, and then there's some teams with some big point scorers that start in the top 5 that may not be as deep lineup wise. And number 5 comes in for me is Florida Christian, and really behind this, and I have them 5th. They're probably falling out of 5th. Just looking at as I see it now, one of the girls I have in the top 10 is transferred out. But they do have Zoe Delgado and Melissa Gallo. Like Zoe is ranked number 1, Melissa number 2 going into the year. And that's how they got in the top 5, because really the girls' depth, at least that I know now, and this kind of happens every year with girls because it's still growing. There's still so many new girls coming out that you don't see a depth at a lot of the schools. And this is one where they're ranked 5th because they've got 2 that could be state finalists.
Yeah. So
I would definitely 2 that could be. And you said they had one of the girls in the rankings leave.
Yeah, Eowyn Reeves is now at South Dade.
Oh,
interesting.
And she transferred from Doral. Originally was going to Florida Christian, and then now, according to Chico Duran, she's at South Dade. So another top 10 wrestler to South Dade.
All right. So moving up to number 4, you have a group of girls again. kind of like Florida Christian, not a ton of girls on the squad, but several that can make a run for a title. So, um,
Yeah, Matter Lakes Academy, Elena Rick, Paola Perez, Ariana Ruiz, uh, all in the top four of my rankings. And listen, Paola Perez was, the knockout champ, was beating everybody before she got hurt last year.
Yeah,
Could be in that top spot when the year ends if she continues on the path she was on. So you've got three girls who can score a fair amount of points, and that might be enough to be top five this year in the girls.
yeah. I mean, if you're going to have full, I mean, I guess if you're going to have a small amount of girls, they got some that are just absolutely terrific.
is
And
um is there a team? So we're moving to number three. But as I look down, because we can actually see 6 through 11, not everybody else can, and we're not going to kind of release those at the moment because Brant's still kind of working through those and all of this. But is there a team
I mean,
outside of the top five that like has a lot of girls, but maybe doesn't have like a top eight? They're not scoring the points, and
if I had to pick one of those, I think once I'm able to confirm who's there,
right,
I think
right.
St. John Newman is probably vastly underrated right now. Because I think they're going to have a couple more girls. They had 8 or 9 at a practice the other day. I know that there's probably 1 or 2 transfers that are there that I haven't confirmed yet. So they're a
and,
team that's
and that was
probably
kind of a question
it's
I
up
had
there.
too, because what I did when you sent me your list is I kind of broke it down. I just went and saw, okay, how many do they have in the top 25? How many do they have in the top 10? How many do they have here? And as far as your rankings, Middleburg shows 7 ranked wrestlers, 4 in the top 10. Are they on the outside looking in because of the depth of those 7, or how did you come up with where you place them?
Well, I for a lot, there's a big chunk of the rankings, especially in girls, that go IBT, just because there's not really a dual part
Mhm.
anyway. And based on Middleburg's depth, now they could be better, but it's a point system. I have a a
Sure.
computerized point system based on what they would place if they're finished where I have them ranked, and they have points there, but they aren't quite on the level of a Matter Lakes. Like I said, Florida Christian probably isn't number 5 now. St. John Newman's probably in there. Middleburg has a. I can't pull up all my numbers because you guys
Sure,
just
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
my
No,
computer's
no.
barely holding
Yeah,
on through
sure, sure,
this.
sure. No problem.
But they definitely depth is great. It's better in duels. So some of that depth that Middleburg has, which is good, and I can't predict how much they're going to improve. So they could be a team that, because of the amount of girls in the room, they graduated some top wrestlers. They could get into the mix. Just as far as my points have them right now, they're just not quite there because they don't have a state finalist or a state champ or multiple that I predict
Yeah.
uh,
So
to
so
pick up those
actually,
points.
in echoing that, Brant, like the way I think about it is you could bring 14 to the state tournament, but if only 7 score points,
Yeah,
then you're only really brought 7. I mean, not to say the
correct.
other 7 didn't count, but in terms of where the team finishes, you get 0 points, you get 0
Yeah.
points. It
Well,
doesn't.
and I think that you're like, I know, like the stock market or whatever, they say past results doesn't yield future, whatever. But in this case, for preseason rankings, past results is all you have to go on as far as the way you rank things based on points at the FHSA tournaments, the state points, who you think. And
Yeah, I mean,
so,
and I keep up through off season. I mean, these are off
right, right.
season rankings too, and some results in there. But
But as far as
I
predicting,
can't say like which ones are
right,
going to be improved just because they've had another year in the room. And there's going to be lots of girls and guys that are going to be infinitely better, and there's going to be girls and guys that have checked out, and it happens. It's their
Well,
yeah,
senior year, and we don't
speaking
know
of
who those people are, and I
yeah,
can't predict that.
right. And
speaking of off
that's
season,
why
sorry.
I asked. No, that's why I could, Lily Bradshaw and Silcox and Dames and Moses and Roth. I mean, they're all tough girls. So I just wanted to kind of understand the thought process how
Yeah.
people get.
So speaking of off season, the top three teams have girls who have done things during the off season. Number three coming in, Sun Lake for you. Cam Lord, had a really good Fargo. They've got five solid
Yeah.
young women there on that squad. They may not have the numbers to compete with the top two, but they have some hammers in their lineup.
Yeah, I mean Paisley Murphy, I have her at 190. Gabrielle Sabi, a
Hmm.
top five wrestler. Uh, and I know the room is grown and it's got lots of girls in it that could step up, but heading into year, I've got possible 5 state qualifiers in that lineup. If they all score points, then that is why
Yeah,
I have them
and
third, and
Cameron Lord,
some
what
finals points and high place points.
I mean, we all know how tough Fargo is. She lost that first match, and then man, the run she made
Hmm.
after that was a great run for her. But yeah, those again, if you're gonna have five girls,
So
those are
what's
tough
interesting
ones.
is that we have two spots left,
Yes.
yet we had four teams that haven't been mentioned that were top four last year.
Yeah.
Your champions in Flagler Palm Coast, your runners up in
Graduated.
Hernando.
Graduated so much from Flagler Palm Coast.
Okay,
What a
South
senior
Dade
class.
and Freedom. So the question is, right? Like Hernando and Flagler Palm Coast, they did lose a
Graduated
lot.
graduated a ton. And again, this top five is not to say they won't be top five, but as of right now, I don't know how good the girls coming in and replace. I know they both, especially Hernando, has a room that's they've been doing this girls thing as long as anybody in the state. They will have girls that maybe if we did this in January, they're gonna have some names there that maybe I didn't know about yet or we didn't know about yet. And their team will look better. So this is just based on what I know is coming back. And Hernando they graduated so many great
Yeah,
wrestlers along with
well,
Flagler.
we have a very familiar name here at number two. They are typically always in the top five somewhere when you do this, and that's Orlando Freedom coming in at number
Yes.
two. And what's and what a lineup! But
Well, let me
what's
say something about our top two teams without saying the top team, but everybody else could probably figure out what that is. Listen, I love the Bush brothers. I think that they're great guys. They're great family guys. They run a great program. Not big on telling me stuff.
yeah,
I don't always find out what they have until it starts. I remember going to Flagler last year on that Tuesday before Thanksgiving and being like, where did these girls come from? Oh yeah, that girl's from Brazil. That girl moved over from Cypress Creek. That girl's from Jones. So they may have more there. I do know some of their move-ins, but they could be deep. They're a deep team, but they're a deep team that uh, I may not know everyone that they have. They've been working hard. They're hosting the
they
girls.
do keep things pretty close to the vest.
They're very
Um,
close to the best. Now, if I sit next to him, he tells me everything. But as far as getting him to tell me before the
no,
season,
no,
it's
yeah.
tough.
If you run into like I live in the same town he lives in Lake Nona, so I'll run into him at a golf course at wherever, right? So
Yeah,
I get to hear some stuff. But yeah, he's very strategic on how he builds those teams, and he also wants to send the team out there and
yes.
see what other people have, like kind of like chess, and then he'll start. I mean, we saw him last year almost with the adjustments that they made, almost come back and shock some people where he moved a heavyweight down, he moved another person
I
here,
mean, he
then
had
another
some
one
girls
here.
work very hard on the weight side to fill in different spots to where they had almost a full team. Of quality. They have a full team anyway, but like of top wrestlers at every weight, I know he'll be able to pull that off again. Uh, Full disclosure, going into this, I thought 1 and 2 would be closer than they were in my numbers. They weren't, but I really thought that Freedom was a contender to be my number one going this year, and they still may be because I imagine they'll have 1 or 2 that I don't know about here, and I know that the girls in the room are going to be getting better and will probably outperform where I have them ranked now. Um, but I haven't had
All
those
I
things
know is they're
confirmed
putting
to
this
me.
up on the bulletin board
Oh, they'll be
right
on there.
now.
They'll tell me how. I'll get a note how I disrespected them, and I'll be like, "Well, who do you have coming?" And then it would be crickets.
Right.
Like, oh, who do you have? I don't know one of that you have. Oh, but I do adore the program, and both of the brothers are running, and I'm not. I'm making fun of the fact they won't tell me, but I don't
Well,
dislike
look,
them
and
for it.
then
But
there's some secret
this is gonna be
sauce
a good team,
behind.
though. This is gonna be a really good Freedom
They've
team.
got a little secret sauce behind the Bush brothers and Lindsay. I mean, she does a
She's
hell of a
very good.
job
Also,
there.
they've got a good
And
coaching staff. They've got a dedicated program. They've got a school that has believed in them and let them uh, grow.
Well, and if
And
right, and they're one of the pioneers. I mean,
yes,
I mean, if I say pioneers because I mean, back when I coached in 2000, we had girls and girls teams and everything else, and I think of that as kind of being the
right.
pioneers with, Ashley Sword, who's now at Life, and other different individuals. But in terms of it being sanctioned, Freedom has been one of the premier programs. They picked it up right at the very beginning. They were ready to go. They were ready to pounce on it, and they did. And the number one team that you have has been a team that just feels like it's just been building
It's a
and
slow build.
building and building and
oh,
building.
yep.
And what I mean, South Dade, I'm not surprised by them being in the number one spot.
I don't want to tease too far ahead. It's maybe the only number one team they have this year.
Oh,
But yeah, this South Day team,
Shots fired.
when you look at this lineup, and especially now they've even added some since I sent you the list. They have a state placer, state point scorer worthy wrestler at all 14 weights.
yeah.
If they stay healthy, that is going to be really tough to overcome. And then you have your heavy hitters. You have your Willow White, who is a returning state champion, undefeated, has had a great summer. You have Kenzie Barrett at 235, who is just waiting to take that top spot this year, has been working hard this summer. You've got Shamari Smith right there at the top, ready to take that next step. The thing that was key for South Dade, and I'm shying away from this because I've said it before, they needed to perform come state, and it's been a growing process. This past year, they started to, and they had girls wrestle up to where they're supposed to be, and just looking at what they're building and the group they have, this team will be really hard if they stay healthy. If they stay with these 14 or and beyond, they are going to be nearly impossible to catch if they're all there scoring points. Which I.
And you know what? I mean, talking to Chino was a South Dade wrestler, right? Came up through
Yeah.
the history of South Dade, and he very, very smart man. He's able to say, okay, I see what we did on the boys' side, and I'm sure there's a lot of those ingredients that he's put into what he's doing there. And yeah, you could see it.
What I mean, why go away from
I
the
mean,
formula, man?
if it works, it works, right? And little by little, you've seen him. He started with a couple, and he got a couple more, and then in typical South Dade fashion, they seem to attract attention, and there they are.
And
But
wrestlers, they've had some good move-ins. They've had some girls they've brought up in the program, a great mix. I'm excited to see what they can do this year.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Brant's top 5, South Dade at 1, Orlando Freedom at 2, Sun Lake 3, Mater Lakes 4, Florida Christian 5.
Yeah, but that may
outside of the top 5 will change. FPC still has 4 or 5 tough girls that could
we'll just
change
concentrate
that.
on the 5. We don't need to list the rest of them.
And then there's that. So and I like what you did here. I was looking. I do. George Jenkins is growing a little girls program, and the Middleburg question I had. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some girls programs out there that could shake this up a little bit. But for now, that's what it is. So
The one last question I have before we move to the 1A, Brant, is last year Flagler Palm Coast, I mean, they kind of won comfortably. I mean, it was, 40-ish points that, ahead of Fernando and South Dade and everything else. I think it might be a little closer this year. I mean, just a gut feeling, not your calculated points. What do you think?
I mean, I believe so. It's just when I look at the South Day lineup, and you know, you've got one heavy favorite to be a state champ in Willow White. I think Kenzie Barrett is the girl to beat by far at 235. And then I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven girls in the top 10, or in the top eight. Uh, there's just so much depth there, and it may be what wins it this year. Depending on how good Freedom can get and how high their girls can fly. It could end up being closer. The thing last year was you had Flagler Palm Coast, not as deep as maybe every team, but they just had the horses and the state champs and
Yeah,
state
they did.
finalists and the high placers. And I don't know if that's would be enough this year against the South A team, which may have 14 girls, uh, knocking on the door, at least in regions, to get there and maybe get close to all of them there.
I don't know, man. I still think I might go with an All-American and Kendall Bibla and Mariah Mills and that crew. But you know what? I'm with you.
But I'm just saying, if there was a
I'm
team
with
last year like South A that would have had 14, maybe 11 or 12 possible placers, a full lineup there,
Mhm.
it may have been closer.
Yeah. No, it definitely would have been closer. There's no doubt about that, I think. All right. So, you know what, guys? Look, this is all squishy at this moment. I mean, like not squishy, but it's still there's still a lot of unknowns.
Listen. One amazing thing about these girls is look what the growth. I mean, I
Yeah.
was talking to Coach Chris Kelly the other day, who, by the way, has a young lady that may shock the
Yes,
world.
very good.
But
Very good 100
he
pounder at
he
seven.
loves that there's one class. He loves how tough it's gotten. He
Yeah.
loves because he feels like it's just going to make our girls so much stronger to have to go through this buzzsaw. And a few years ago, we would go through these top five or whatever, it'd be no brainer. We'd look at your rankings and you'd say, well, at every weight, nobody's going to touch the top two. They're just so far ahead, right? And now we look at several weights, and anybody in the top five, six, seven could
I mean,
break through. And
I think we're still looking at that. It's just more teams have one or two or three
Yeah.
really good wrestlers. I the teams are getting deeper. Last year's teams, I think, were deeper at
Yeah.
the top just because we graduated so much. Right now, at least, it seems to be more spread where so many teams have one or two really good girls wrestlers or great girls wrestlers. But all those graduations mean there will be girls available to step up and spots that people can move into.
Yeah.
And that I'll be curious to see which programs are able to move into those spots.
Well, and
which
I'd
we
imagine what we're
haven't
seeing
seen
right
yet.
now, what we're seeing now in your rankings are probably going to change too, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think people are going to move weights. There's some of those low weights like 115, 120, I mean, that are just absolutely
Oh,
stacked.
115 is
It's
crazy
just
right now.
unbelievable. But anyway, we're going to do 1A.
Let's
Yes.
move to
ahead,
1A.
Jason.
Yeah, so coming in at number 5
All
in
five
1A.
teams. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, is Merritt
Wow.
Island. And again, I think it's important to note that Brant has continued to do his rankings, um, and this is based on rankings, and it's through the offseason. And the thing that is kind of interesting is that your rankings, I don't know how. I mean, this is a folk style thing. I mean, Timmy Boda went up to freaking Fargo. Trey Driggett went up to Fargo. You had a lot of Landon Quiroga. Like, so they wrestled a lot. We know they're at that level. But how do you kind of balance the whole freestyle, folk style thing as you put your rankings together? Because that has an influence here, right?
I mean, it does. I find I don't see a lot of movement um through freestyle.
Okay.
Maybe I'm able to juggle. I probably find more information on potential weights than I do with
Yeah.
wins, because I'll be honest with you, at least in freestyle, a lot of the ones that beat ones in folk style beat them at freestyle too. Yeah, you have some that are better freestyle wrestlers, and maybe you have to kind of like, well, that person won in free, that one won in folk style. But the ones that are doing freestyle, they're just building on what they already have, and I don't see a lot of movement and changes based on that. At least in like head-to-head stuff. But I do look at it. I think freestyle I mean, we know the differences, but it obviously compares better for comparison than Greco. Like, I don't really look at Greco results. I look at them, but I don't really consider them into this because it's such a different discipline.
It
Um,
is, yeah.
but I mean, I keep a tab on it. I mark if there is a matchup between two, I do mark it. It's freestyle. I don't always change rankings based off of it, but it's good to know where people are, and sometimes I do. Um, but if you're wrestling freestyle or folk style all summer, I think that's a benefit anyway.
Yeah, no
Well,
doubt.
and so good luck to Merritt Island this year. Obviously, last year was a great year for them, and they tend to
Hmm.
And
every
listen,
year
I mean,
build upon that.
when I look at Merritt Island, they did graduate some, but the only reason they're not higher, and we'll discuss this at 4 because I do have information on 4. I don't have information yet on Merritt Island. To where just 1, 2, and 3, at least right now, are just deeper of what I have coming back. Doesn't
And
mean that Merritt Island won't be able to compete with them because I think they will. I just don't necessarily know who they're going to have at more weights than the other ones.
well, and
But they're building something there, and they're bringing in good wrestlers there. So
Hmm.
speaking of number 4, uh, second year on the job, Lane Eisen, and did we think that he wouldn't just build something special like he did at his previous school? And it's St. John Newman you've got
yeah,
at number 4. They got 8 in the top 10. They got 2 with a number 1 next to their name. And
two defending state champs. One's a transfer, and Jonathan Motor coming over from First Baptist Naples. Lincoln Sledzianowski, who came back last year from a stint up in Pennsylvania and won a state title. About as much of a lock as you could probably put on for this coming year. I actually Motor, maybe he didn't win a state champ, right? He was a state finalist again. He hasn't won a championship yet, I think, if I remember
I
correctly.
think you're right.
But
But
he's
you know
ranked
what? I
number
think
1. But he's a returning state finalist for like 3rd or 4th year. Um, but he's on that team now. The reason we're going to discuss this with Merritt Island is I had them not too far behind St. John Newman, and when I made this, Eric Bush was still a transfer as far as I had been told to St. John Newman. I've now since confirmed he's not going to St. John Newman, probably at Riverdale. That's a finalist from a year ago, a guy who I thought would be in the finals again. That's 20 to 25 points potentially that he could have scored there. So that probably shakes things up if I went and did the math again on this. But I
so.
don't know if it changes that much because they still have 2 guys who could be state champs.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was gonna say is like if you look at St. John Newman, like I mean, Bush is an important piece, but from 6 to 44 to
Yeah.
or 50, they've got studs in there. I mean,
Yes.
you got Benito Barnhart again who went to Fargo. You've got Eric Perez. You've got a lot of kids who sit in those weights. They were going to have a tough time trying to figure out how to get all those kids
Yeah.
in the lineup.
Well, I got to
and
be honest with you.
if I remember,
I did notice that.
Wasn't Benito in the finals last year
Benito,
I don't
at
have,
the state?
he was at
yeah.
106 pounds.
Yeah,
So
so he's
yeah, I mean,
something.
you have Eric
He's
Perez
something
in
to
that
mess
mix.
with.
You have William McGowan in that list. You have
You do.
a kid coming up now, Joel Nagib, who I am told to just watch out for.
Hmm.
A freshman wrestler. He's had some successes already this offseason, beat some ranked kids. I mean, they deserved a 4 spot. I think the difference between them and Merritt Island has gotten a lot closer because of that. But they already had a lot of numbers at those weight classes too. So it was going to be interesting to see how they even spread them out anyway.
Well, and this next team here, I think we have slowly seen them kind of building towards this with their youth club in that area. And Jason, who's coming in at number 3?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I personally think maybe they're a little low. I mean, they could be number 2. Like, I mean, this is a solid squad. Cocoa Beach has got really good kids all the way through their lineup. Like, let's be honest. Okay,
They need some weight.
they need some
they need
upper
some
weights.
big guys.
They need some upper
The
weights.
biggest hit they took was Madden Friedenberg was going to be my favorite
Oh,
at 285. He's moved to Georgia. moved with his father up there, so they now have a hole at
Hang on, I gotta take
285.
this down. He's moving. Do you know where he moved to Georgia?
I don't know. That's right. I should have told you. I don't know
Oh,
where he is in Georgia.
it's
Like
it's
they tell me that they move out of state. I'm like, okay,
well, look at football schools
yeah.
because he's a
Find out where
football
he's playing
kid.
football,
So
and that's probably.
it's got to be like a Milton, a Butte. You know what I mean? It's got
I
to
mean,
be one of
he
those
moved
big
up there. His
names.
father lived in Georgia. He moved up there, so that's it. But that's a big loss for
I
Cocoa
didn't
Beach.
even know that. Okay, all
If you
right.
look at their
Yes.
rank, if you look at their rankings, according to me, they only have one guy ranked above 165. But this is a team loaded at some weights. The biggest problem, it's one of those problems that you'd hate to have.
They
They've
have
got
two
so much
guys.
talent at weights. They don't have room for everybody. They've got seventh graders coming up that are ready. This has been a program that's been building for a while now. Chris Kelly there, and last year that was. I think they showed up a year early. I think he would admit that this program was built to like start showing up now. Last year they kind of were able to speed up the process. I think move ahead of themselves and the plan and pace they set. But this is a top three team, and if these guys continue to get better as they are, this is a team that could be, in that mix for maybe even a second spot. They're focused on the state duels and. But this is definitely a team that is loaded. It's just where you're going to put everybody at a weight to fit because they do have some log jams in there, some really
You know
talented
what?
guys.
I
That's
mean,
a great problem
I
to
mean,
have.
they've
Let's
got
be
two
honest.
guys ranked at 106. They've
I
got two at
mean,
113. They've got
they've
two at
got
120. That's how
10,
good they are.
10 ranked in the top 10,
Yeah.
10 of them.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's it's a good problem to have. I mean, you know what? If I'm walking around that room as the coach, I'm going, "Hey, this is pretty good. This is pretty awesome. Let them kind of battle each other out. I mean, that's going to be pretty awesome to
Yeah.
watch."
well, and the old funky monkey comes in at number 2, Zephyr Hills
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Christian.
this is another team, maybe not as deep in what I know with Cocoa Beach, but uh going into the when I made these, they had 6 wrestlers ranked in the top 3. They had a number 5 wrestler transfer from Sunlake, Constantine Kasperkian. Darius
Woo.
Montgomery transferred over from Middleton at 215. And I talk to the Middleton coaches all the time, and they're so thrilled for him. Middleton, not a wrestling program, and he's basically been the face of that program and getting better and placing, and now he has a chance to get into a room that's only going to make him better. I think that's a guy that's going to score some points for them. And then through the middle, you have Wimberly brothers, you have Isaac Rodriguez, Nevin Hayes, all guys that are going to score a lot of points. That the key for them is maybe going to be that second level points, and maybe they have depth. I don't know yet. I haven't had a chance to get information from them yet. But this is a team that probably is going to have some more guys step up. Will be enough to counteract the high numbers that we'll see.
Oh
With
yeah, and it seems like every year he's got, for a school that's got like 150 kids in it, he seems to do really,
He does
really
all right.
well.
No,
They're a
they
tough
do.
team. They're a tough team that he's been building it the right way. Another team that kind of showed up a year or two early when they went to state duels and beat First Baptist and kind of made a name for themselves there. Graduated some guys and just see how everybody steps in to fill kind of those roles.
So before we move to the
Yes.
number 1 team, I mean, I'm going to throw out there that you don't have the Mako boys and Cardinal Gibbons in the top
not?
5.
You're probably,
Yeah,
I mean,
1, 2, 3. I mean, 4 in the top 4, 2 number 1s, 1
They
number
have some
2.
studs. So
They
two,
do.
three,
is
four,
this
five,
just a
6, 7,
numbers
8,
thing?
9.
It's when I look at the depth of Merritt Island and I looked at the depth of St. John Newman, I just felt there was more proven points there. Obviously, you have probably two state champs favorites, favored at Cardinal Gibbons. You'll have some other guys that they've rebuilt a great program there. They are probably in the mix.
Yeah.
But I would say that was the hardest one to be not in the top 5 when I looked at this, but I couldn't find a spot for them.
Yeah.
But
I
probably,
mean, I just
probably
saying,
throw them. I know probably throw them into that 4, 5, 6 mix with Merritt Island and St. John Newman.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have the depth for the top 3. But I mean, you had North Bay Haven, a team up in the Panhandle that's making like history of the first to accomplish things from the Panhandle.
Yeah,
Aubrey Rogers, who Dan is now going to become a huge fan of.
Yeah.
They've got some transfers coming in who are tough. They've got the Zerka quadruplets.
Florida High.
And Florida High has some
they have a
numbers in
lot
there.
of kids coming back, and I've
There-
just watched
there's-
them at D South duels.
But the thing with 1A is these top teams are just so deep, and which is not always the case. And it's really exciting to see in
Well,
1A, to see so
and
many just loaded teams.
At number one, your reigning, defending
state champ, yeah.
state dual, state IBT champions is Merritt Island.
And no,
I mean, not Merritt Island.
Mater
I was like-
Lakes.
I was like,
Mater
wait,
Lakes.
what?
Mater Lakes.
Like, whoa.
Matter Lakes,
Mater Lakes.
as they like to say.
you know,
Matter.
I
It
don't
doesn't
think that
matter.
that's
it
a
doesn't matter.
I don't think
Tomater.
that's a surprise to me. Like, I mean,
No, they
you
are.
look at the
absolutely
Messina
loaded.
boys, Bruce Lee, who had again another really good Fargo, Nazario. I mean, this is a team that has been really good for a
You have
long time.
5 state champs in the lineup that have won a state championship already. Again, the key thing is just as everybody finds the right weight and they're able to spread them out properly
and makes weight.
and makes weight, and which they did last year. They found the right formula. I mean, this is a team that I don't want to say I was questioning them, but when they went to state, I wanted to see how they would perform now that they had pressure on them. In the past, they had always been the chasee.
Yeah.
And now they kind of were the favorite and had to win these things, and they went out and they won them. And they won them back after back after back, and just kind of momentum rolled into it to where they just had just a tremendous state tournament, and they get so many of those guys back, and they're back with that experience, and they're tougher, and it's really tough for me to not see them repeat with just so many guys that should be wrestling Saturday night, be the favorite in their match on Saturday night, to be caught this year.
I mean, 4 number ones, 8 in the top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the top 2 or top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
No, it's a great squad. I do appreciate what you said though, Brant, and that how do you respond when you've won the title, right?
Yes.
And that's one of the things that really good programs have done in the past. They maintain this kind of chip on their shoulder. They love the fact that the pack is chasing them, and they're going to continue to exert their dominance. And this is a new position,
Well, and I think we
Lakes.
saw a team. Next week we'll talk about 2A and 3A, but we saw a team like Joe and Somerset. They were chasing Lake Highland Prep all those years, right? And Lake Highland Prep goes, Somerset gets their opportunity. They get that win, and then, like Brant said, what do they do next? Well, he continued to show that he could do it, and now, we'll talk about him at 2A. But now they've got the wheel at Mater Lakes, and will they continue to drive that car? I mean, they've got everything. I mean, everything in that engine looks like it's going to be hard to turn that engine off. I mean,
all right. So as a countdown of our top, or as Brant's top 5, not our
I was going to
top
say,
5.
anybody that has any issues with this, just email ward@wardwrestling.com.
yeah,
Number
email Ward.
5.
I'll be sure to have him
Send
send
it-
me all of those emails.
Please send it to ward@wardwrestling.com, because that's not my email. So send them all to the
I
Number
didn't know you emailed off the top
5,
of my head.
according to Brant. Number 1, according to
Copper
Dan,
Wrestling.
is Merritt Island. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Dan
Hey,
made that mistake.
I'm
Number 5,
a huge fan of those guys, though.
Merritt Island. 4, St. John Newman. 3, Cocoa Beach. 2, Funky Monkey, Zephyrhills Christian School. And your number 1 defending state champion in this preseason top 5 by Cabra is Mater Lakes or Matter Lakes.
And, one thing I'd like to say too is Merritt Island and Cocoa Beach have made that area
Yeah.
so good.
And Palm Bay
together,
and Vieira, because I live here, and those 4 programs, even Palm Bay is kind of in a more rebuilding now. I mean, Vieira's won 2 straight district titles. This has become a hotbed over here. I can remember the first year I covered wrestling, back in 2007 4, I think it was. I covered a state tournament, and I did freelance for Florida Today, and it was hard to find guys to write about in Brevard County. It's like, oh, if they had a placer, then they made the front, they made the lead. Not like that here now. This is a loaded county on wrestling that's only getting better, and certainly Merritt Island and Cocoa Beach are part of that, but also Palm Bay has long been part of that.
Yeah.
With Sean Ballard pushing AAU so much stuff over here, and then even Vieira's rise in the last few years, with Jason Custer deciding, hey, this school is too good to not have a wrestling program, and started that there, and they've had success there.
And one thing that I really like, I've had a chance to, I haven't spoke to Ballard in a while, just because we haven't crossed paths. Great guy, doing great things over there. The Vieira coach, obviously, but I get to see, I do the media days for Cocoa Beach and Merritt Island. I get to see them often. I go to Fargo with Merritt Island's coach. So I get to talk about the great thing I like about those two is it's becoming a fierce rivalry, but they are such good friends. And
they're college roommates, right?
Right. So I like that they want to, obviously in a duel, they want to tear each other's face out, but afterwards they want to be able to help grow the county together, help grow wrestling together, help build what they're doing together. And I think that just is awesome. And if everybody in all the counties can have those fierce rivalries, but then take a back seat and help the growth, I think it says a lot why that county has grown with Ballard, Vieira, and those two.
Yep. I mean, I should give Heritage a name there. They've developed, and that Heritage is a program where the wrestlers start in 9th grade. Even my kid's school, Satellite, had 3 straight years of 1 or 2 state finalists. I mean, it's just crazy.
Space Coast. I mean, Space Coast has a legendary coach.
Astronaut.
So the area is growing,
on the way up this year. They
right now it's whatever obviously we know some are rebuilding, some are there, but those two guys are just it's gonna
be fun to watch that this year because
they're a stone's throw from each other.
Their district duel will be a good one, and their district IBT will be a good one. You're gonna see 2 teams battling out that are high level, and that's always fun to watch.
And two of the best humans you'll ever kind of.
I love the fact. I mean, if you look at historically over in Brevard County, back in the 80s, Merritt Island had Tony McCormick and Solomon Fleckman and all them, and it was a really great program, and it kind of went down a little bit and it came back up and that sort of thing, and Astronaut for a period of time was the program in Brevard County and those sorts of things. There's
state title team in 99.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is what this goes to show me is, like, you could say it's a wrestling school or not a wrestling school or whatever, and I don't really kind of buy into that. I mean, the coaches, create the culture. They bring in, really good energy to their programs and everything else, and it has an impact. And you could take a school who has been good but not great, and you get the right mix and the right group of people in there, and they start growing it from the ground up, and man, you can really develop you can really get a program to come out of out of nowhere, but you know what I mean.
And Jason, he's somebody that sees eye to eye with Solomon Fleckman.
Seen eye to eye because he's short? Is that what you're saying to me?
Wow. I was not expecting
Dan, it's not like you're 6 feet tall there, Joker.
No, but I am 6 millimeters taller than you. But
I was gonna say I can see over Dan on the side of the mat too, so I don't know where that joke came from.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that works. So guys,
I mean, Solomon Fleckman's a real tall guy.
So girls, and that is girls in 1A for this week. I'm really interested in 2A and 3A that we're going to delve into next week.
I don't want to diminish 1A or girls, and I enjoyed the talk, but the reason we did them first is because I felt their ones were more clear.
Yeah,
2 and 3A is going to be a great discussion.
There's
people going to be mad they got to wait another week to hear that one because it's going to be good.
I don't agree with them. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't agree with necessarily.
Well, fine, do your own show. Oh wait, this is your
Oh yeah, I can't wait to watch Brant anger some people.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be
Remember, it's
great.
Ward at wardwrestling.com.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, yeah. It's Jason at SE Wrestle.
And, all right, guys. Thanks for joining us this week, Brant. I'm so glad that your computer made it through it.
I
And
did. I was only Darth Vader for one time, or maybe
you were
two
only
times.
Darth Vader for
Okay.
one time.
We're getting it
And
fixed
you know
this
what,
weekend.
guys?
So
You know what? Get your information in to Brant because it
Yes.
really just helps the conversation. We love talking about it. This is all about promoting the sport, promoting, the programs and the kids and all the sorts of stuff and everything else. More information we have, the more we can not look like fools. But you know what? Sometimes it's just going to be the party that it is, given the characters that you have in front of you. So,
Yes, and again, looking forward to this weekend to all the
Yes, enjoy
members
that.
going to the Hall of Fame. So I'll be there. I'll be interviewing all those fellas, and it should be a great time like usual.
last but not least, I want to give a shout out to Ethan Rivera, who competed at the U20
Yes.
World Championships. Also, Nathan Lytle and Giovanni Tovar, who competed at the U17 World Championships. Am I missing anybody from Florida, Dan?
I know the U23 Pan Ams are going on, so you've got
Yeah,
Eli
right.
Rivera down there, um, and then I'm sure we're missing somebody because that's
Yeah,
just what
well,
we do.
and last but not least, and this is not a Florida reference, but all of you know Araya Mills, man, going on to win a U17 world title, unbelievably talented. And guess what? You will see him and the rest of the Mills crew, who is now at Athens Christian, down at the Knockout come December
I
19th.
know
and
you're
20th.
already teasing
I'm
knockout.
I know,
teasing
it's
knockout
great.
stuff, man.
I got
The best.
the message on that, and I looked it up. I looked at it. I'm like, oh my god, it's all happening.
Yeah, I shared the article this morning on Facebook, and I shared it into Brant's room.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that out. Yeah, I've already been in conversation with the Knockout crew. I tease the boys. We'll tease the girls as well. I know on the boys' side we got Pennsylvania coming down. We've got Texas coming over. We
Please
got
tell
some
me,
Missouri.
please tell me you already told work you're not going to be there because you're
I
going to come to us at
I
Christmas
have
knockout.
already
mean,
made that work.
I missed you at Fargo. I missed you at the state tour. Come on, you
Oh,
got to
he
come.
misses me, Brad. He
I know.
misses.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right,
Fargo.
guys.
He needs one person there that's shorter than him, I guess.
Yeah. By this much.
There's
So
a
he
few.
can-
There's
so
a
he
few
can-
wrestling coaches out there who are shorter.
Yeah, on media row, he just needs someone he can make fun of, feel bigger than.
Yes, exactly.
All right, guys. Next week,
Yes.
3A and 2A.
Can't wait. That's gonna be a fun one.
All right. Peace out.